Even though a lot of buffers are removed or nerfed in Storm Connections, they can still be used very well within the game. Today we're going to be talking about air buffers. If you haven't seen, I already did a video for buffers on the ground, RTA, 3-hit buffer, but today I'll show you how to do them in the air. First I'll go over the more simple one, switch air 2 hits. So it's basically doing this. See, I'm doing 2 hits in the air, but I switched out. The input is all very simple. Switch, jump, attack, attack. When you do this fast enough, after you switch, your character will actually go ahead and do the 2 hits on its own. Now when it comes to the difficulty of the execution, I personally would say this is a lot harder than your normal RTA. Mainly because with RTA, you can buffer the first attack into the switch and then press jump jump afterwards. However, with air 2 hits, you have to do the 3 buttons all after the switch. Since if you switch after your jump, both the characters will jump, and then what you end up getting is this. So yeah, the difficulty comes when you're trying to press 3 buttons all in the time frame after you switch. So here's some tips. When you're doing the switch into the jump, I suggest you slide from your switch to the jump, like that, because this guarantees you to press jump after you switch. There's no misinput over here. As long as you slide down from the switch to the jump, it's guaranteed for you to get a switch and then a jump. As you probably already noticed, the downside is that you can only do this with one side. With the other side, you can't slide down this way to the jump, because the jump is just not there. So the other way, you might just have to press with 2 hands. For the easier method, slide from switch to jump. You get a very quick switch. Now after that, you just want to press your attack button twice very quickly. You can either do this by using claw method, which is using your index finger, pressing the circle, or wherever your button is. You want to make sure you press it twice. Now let me just simply go over why this works. After you switch, if you press any button, your switched out character will do that action. If I switch and attack, my character will attack. Even though I'm not playing the character, he will still attack for me. Obviously, when this comes to jump, it will also work. The character will jump for you. Now go into buffers a bit more. If I just press jump, attack, attack very quickly, you see how my character will start to do the air 2 hit. Now after you switch, the time frame is not unlimited, otherwise you wouldn't be able to play with your new character. So the time frame is small, you can press some stuff during it. If I do it too late, nothing will come out, or your second character will do it. Just between that time frame, if you press anything, your character will do it. Meaning when you do an air 2 hit, you're pressing all those 3 buttons in that specific time frame, giving your switched out character something to do. In this case, jump, attack, attack. Let's move on to the utilities of this move. Why is this useful? Again, same as RTA and the 3-hit buffer, it's very good for sub traps. When I attack the opponent, he'll teleport behind me. This is a sub. But when I attack the opponent with my switched out character, you see how he appears in front of me instead of behind me, and in the air as well. This is the opponent subbing a projectile. So if I throw a shuriken, see, it's the same effect. This is because your switched out character is actually a projectile. Sasuke right now is a projectile. If we keep that in mind and do this move, when they sub, they will be subbing in the air, and you'll be completely safe. This is what's called a sub trap. You're manipulating how they will sub. In this case, we're predicting that the opponent is going to sub after 2 hits, so we place the sub trap after 2 hits. Furthermore, most sub traps that people do stops the combo completely. For example, this is really good because if they sub, able to jump behind them and then keep going with the pressure. You see, the problem comes when they don't sub. Now they're freely out. They didn't waste a sub, didn't waste a support, nothing. However, with air 2 hit, didn't sub, okay, we keep going, no problem. You see, the combo keeps going. We're not giving up anything. You can continue even after they don't sub. If you're thinking going for a stylish approach to sub trapping, or just a good sub trap in general, this is definitely the way to go. Now we can move on to Fortnite. You might be asking, why is this called Fortnite? I have no idea. I didn't name these. But again, this is a very, very useful tool, both in combos and on block actually. There are multiple versions to this. You have normal Fortnite, which is just dashing into a jutsu. This works both for your primary and your secondary jutsu, as long as they both can be activated in the air. For example, Ishiki. Primary jutsu works in the air. Secondary jutsu also works in the air. For Ishiki, you can do Fortnite however you want. Secondary, primary, doesn't matter. For someone like Sasuke, I can't actually activate the primary jutsu in the air, only the secondary. If I tried to do the primary jutsu, you see it wouldn't work. Sasuke did one hit in the air because I'm required to do this. You see that's one hit. Meaning after I buffer it, I will get the one hit with chakra. But when I do this with someone who has an air primary jutsu, you see how it works now. It's really dependent on your character. Tamari here doesn't actually have a primary jutsu in the air or an air secondary jutsu. But this does mean that she can do this shuriken in the air. Before I move on to the final boss tricks of Fortnite, let me just show you how to do these simple ones first. First, you want to make sure the opponent's in the air. So, air hits, wherever, dash in like this, all is fine, as long as the opponent's in there and you're on the ground. After this, you want to practice your spark dashes. Obviously, you don't have to do that, that's just a little training drill. Now you want to do a switch spark dash. Spark dash, this time you add a switch in the middle of it. It doesn't really matter when, just in the middle of all that muddle, add a switch. When we put this together with the first step, you do a switch spark dash while the opponent's in the air. Now comes the hardest part of this whole thing. After you do the switch spark dash, you want to press jutsu as fast as you can. Trying to buffer your jutsu within your spark dash. This is why a lot of people actually do spark dash switch. Instead of putting your switch in between the spark dash, you put the switch after the spark dash. This way, after you switch, you'd have to press 2 buttons, which is a much less tighter timing. Instead of potentially doing switch, chakra, jump, chakra, attack, or shuriken, you're just doing switch, chakra, attack, or shuriken. Now all of that might be a bit confusing, so let's just get back to the basics. Step 1, into the air. Step 2, switch spark dash. Step 3, jutsu. Now together, I'll slow the clip down as well so you can see exactly what is happening. Now the single shuriken version of this is actually really easy. Instead of doing spark dash into a jutsu, you're just doing spark dash into a shuriken. Same thing as before, into the air, switch spark dash. This time instead of pressing jutsu, you just press shuriken. Also with shuriken, you can actually use your items as well. Same concept, after you switch spark dash, you just use an item. Once again, we're on to the utilities, why I should use these. And just like before, it's mostly for sub traps. But again, you can use it in a combo because at the end of the day, you are using a jutsu. Now with all of that done, we can move on to the final boss, as I said, of Fortnite. I think I said 2, but actually there's 3. Fortnite's 2-hit, grounded Fortnite jutsu, and also Fortnite dash. You know how I said you couldn't do Fortnite if your jutsu was on the ground, right? See, Sasuke's jutsu is only on the ground. Well, not entirely true, because you can do a grounded Fortnite jutsu. I did a Fortnite jutsu with Sasuke, even though his primary jutsu is only on the ground. Now this is actually exactly the same as a normal Fortnite jutsu, but the hard part is trying to time the dash with when the opponent is near the ground. If you do it too high, that will happen. So you want to try to get that right timing. This works for everyone. So Tamari doesn't actually have any air jutsu, meaning you can do this with her like this, or with her second jutsu. Now that was actually the easiest out of the 3. The other 2 are just on another level, at least for me. First one I have is Fortnite 2-hit. This is just as it sounds. After Fortnite, you do 2 hits. This actually took me quite a long time to get. Took me quite rusty. As you can see, I'm failing even here. But same concept. After you do your switch spark dash, you just want to press attack twice. Same as if you do air 2 hits, except this time you do it during Fortnite. Of course, this has a grounded version as well. So the difficulty comes when you have to press the same button twice really quickly. This is where it becomes difficult. Whereas when you do a Fortnite jutsu, you're pressing 2 buttons very quickly. Now this is a lot easier, as you can see. You basically press them together at the same time. But when you're pressing the attack button twice, that becomes a lot more difficult. The last one only works on grounded. Now I would say this is the most difficult one out of the bunch. First, you have to time it with the ground, and also you have to spam your jumps super fast. I was basically using 2 fingers there. But today I'm going to show you how to do them in the air. Wait. You have normal Fortnite, which is dash, oh my god. But when I do this with someone who has an air primary jutsu, bro. So let's say I want to do the paper bomb. This is just as it sounds. After Fortnite, your character does 2 hits. Except he doesn't. Of course, this has a grounded version as well. What? The last one only works on grounded. And this is what it looks like